This video is going to be a little different from the content I put out so far. It's also going to be shorter, but I think it's something that needs to be said. Let me preface this by saying I know a producer in any industry, their number one goal is to get their money back. That's not what this video is about. It's about how you can come away with a project you can be proud of that's well received should you choose to become a hands-on film producer. We can name project after project that was ruined because people who knew nothing about the art of filmmaking wanted to make certain changes because they're producers. It's not about bettering the project or even making their money back most times. It's about ego and power and doing things because they can. With this, it tanks the morale on set. The cast and crew will hardly want to be there anymore. It's no longer the writer's or the director's vision. It then becomes something thrown together to appease someone just because they funded it. Let me say this now. If you only produce films because you like being able to change things at any moment, then kindly keep your money. When you impact the people making something, you impact the final product, which means you eventually impact the consumer, and in our case, the audience. Policing art in general is why we end up getting overly saturated with certain genres instead of having a nice balance. Take the superhero films, for example. We were so overly saturated, it seemed like every week there was a new superhero film coming out. There was no balance. And so now the major studios are scrambling to put out films of different genres because people have become disinterested in fantasy where there's a hero that comes to save the day. It became tiring. It became too much to keep up with. It became too much because of how life is in general. So with art, the beautiful thing about art is that it always imitates life. When the superhero genre became popular, it was because that was what was needed at the time. Now, with everything being so high and nobody can really afford anything, we don't need art that's telling us, hey, this random person is gonna come save the day. Like that's not gonna happen. That's not what we need right now. We need something to keep morale up. And so major studios are again scrambling because they can't even compete with A24, who's put out great content that's relatable, content that can help us, that can entertain us at the same time. And because they provided balance. They didn't just focus on one thing. Now, let's move on to why it's important to have some knowledge of making the craft before producing. First of all, I don't suggest putting money in anything without doing a little research first. But it's important in filmmaking, especially because, again, it's an art, which means it's not as cut and dry as a regular business. Scripts can change at the drop of a dime, locations can be snatched from you, wardrobes can malfunction. All of this can serve as a loss of money and a loss of time, especially because there is always a timetable in filmmaking. So, with all of this that can go wrong, and trust me, something always goes wrong in a production. The cast and the crew, especially the director, they don't really need any of the added stress of whatever new idea you cooked up from a dream you had. Also, talent, they need a certain environment to be able to not only get in but stay in character. Added stress and constant random changes is a huge hindrance to that. And an unstable environment in general for anyone in any industry is not good. The director needs to be able to direct. They need to be able to make sure everything is going good with the cast, make sure everything's going good with the crew. And they need to be able to direct, so let them. I know that because lots of you have had success in other business ventures. You think you know what it takes to make a successful film or TV show, but you don't. If you haven't sat with a story or embodied a character, then you have absolutely no idea what it takes to make it better. That's like telling a mechanic how to fix a car, knowing you've never even been under a hood before. Truth is, there is no formula to succeed in the film industry. Some things we think are going to be a huge success fall flat commercially and vice versa. Something that you work on could not be a huge success commercially right now, but later on could become a huge success because it can become a cult classic. So It's better to walk away with a good project than be a helicopter parent, so to speak, because it's truly up to the consumer in our industry. Once a film is released, there's nothing really that can save it like in other businesses. You can add all the marketing you want, but if the people don't want to go see it, then that's just it, other than, again, it becoming a cult classic somewhere down the line. My suggestion is to go sit on a set strictly in an observational capacity just to see everything it takes, see how much work it is, see how tiring it is, see how difficult it is, because it's not easy at all to tell a story. And then experience how rewarding it is to watch the final product for the first time and to see an audience that appreciates the art that you did. I hope this video helped, even though, it was a little rambly, but let the people you hire do their jobs to the best of their ability. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see more content uploaded every week. Thank you.